toxoplasmosis. Yep. See, I gave it a I gave it a static network IP address, and the reason is well, related to pfSense. I have to forward port 4040, otherwise nothing will see it from the outside. It's got to have the port forwarded somewhere, right? That's where pfSense comes into play. So I got a server at .50, we'll just say on the network, on 4040, and boom, there's my subsonic. And this forwards the traffic through the NAT. And it also goes through the traffic shaper in a different section and so on and so on. All right. I was looking for my phone. So now I can simply test if it works or not by using my phone. And we will do that by putting my dsub application, settings, servers, and this connection. Connection is okay. That's how I know, and this is subsonic. So I'm able to success. Interestingly, the Wi-Fi of mine is showing connected but no internet. And I wonder if something during the migration blew up with my access point, or if it just needs to obtain a new IP or something. That I don't know. Might be worth investigating. I just have a shitty access point that it's going to get replaced eventually. Actually, that is the radio. Actually, I don't remember the information right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so I have pfSense installed, running. It's routing all my traffic. I got internet. It works. I have my now subsonic. I have to do a few other things to get the music pointing to it correctly and all of that fun stuff. That's not difficult. I don't think I got anything else I need to specifically do in this case, other than goof off. Alright, it's the next day. I've been not recording the process because we're talking hours upon hours. I figured something cool out, and one, I managed to get this vSphere web client thing installed. It's called the VMware Center, no, vCenter. What the hell is it called? Called VCSA, the vCenter Server Appliance. And my understanding is it's the ultimate control that lets you have over the ESXi everything. It was a bitch to install and figure out how to get it to work, but now that I have it working, oh holy shit. It required like a minimum of 8 gigs of RAM on a virtual machine or something. I don't know if it's the system itself. So I had the Windows server installation. I ran the ISO there. And as I progressed, it took me forever and several tries before it finally decided to work. But it created its own VM. This one right here, the VMware vCenter Server Appliance. And it provisioned itself a pretty hefty chunk of memory, and it tried to take 10 gigs originally. I dropped it to 8. I don't know if it's worth reducing or not. I'll have to see how much memory it actually uses and all that, but it might be a leave it the fuck alone type of thing. So what the shit is it? Well, there's a reason I'm bringing this up. And again, my crash course, blind, happy-go-lucky approach, non-professional, unprofessional. I'm not a network administrator. I'm just a guy with too much time on his hands. But it is a virtualized machine that once set up, that's pfSense, it ran something that is just, you don't really see much, but it's the embedded platform service controller with the server. And once it's running, and it takes a while, it seems, before the interface will let you work with it, the one you're seeing right here. In my case, I had it deploy on .3 in my network. I don't bother with like local host names and shit. I just don't care. I prefer the numbers. It's easier for me. But it creates two different web interfaces. One is this one, this vCenter appliance itself, which doesn't do a whole lot, but it's on port 5480, right? That's got one login for that. And this one seems to go up well before the other one does. The other one seems to be a massive resource sink. But this one lets you do updates. So I was able to hop in here and did a check update in the repository, and it did update the server appliance. I don't know if it can also update the ESXi itself, the hypervisor, or if it's only for the server appliance. But either way, this was the only thing in this portion that was of use. Everything else is just kind of, it gives me like health information and stuff, which might come in useful if something stops working well. I don't know yet. Let's see. There's a couple odds and ends, manage. There's a reason I'm bringing this up too. Yeah, so it's got its own like complex little database stuff, which I'm assuming is what that quarter of a gig of memory, hard drive memory it took is for. In which case this thing's going to probably want its own little hard drive or something in the future. You only need one. So putting that tab aside, this is the other one. And it goes through, same IP address, but HTTPS. And I don't, actually the other one might be too. Yeah, it is. Not sure what happens if I only did that. So let me see, I'm curious. Okay, yeah. So if I just went without a port, it would take me to this screen. And then I see HTML5, but it's only partial functionality, which means they haven't fully deprecated the previous version. So I said, I'm not even bothering. I went to the Flash one. I had to do something with Adobe Flash upgrades or something or other. It was weird. I think it was just a matter of I had to allow it. And I've been getting, every time I log in, an error with a Shockwave Flash that relates to telemetry somehow or other. I don't know if it's because of my extreme security system and anti-telemetry implementations. Thank you, Microsoft, or if it's just something else. I don't really care because I hit no and it seems to be fine. And interesting, I got a memory usage alert. Cool. We'll figure that out in a second. I'm curious now. But this tool is fucking amazing compared to the workstation portion, the web vSphere client thing I was using earlier. This seems to have everything. And I first had to have created a data center. I called you Necropolis. This is the Necropolis data center. It's still growing. It's going to be a while. But once I had the data center, I was then able to just add hosts. So I added the server that I'm working with, which is the IP address of the host, and then your root credentials, etc., and the older test server that I'm migrating everything off of one way or another. Now it let me do a couple of things with it as well. I ended up completely the subsonic thing we did last time. I actually completely deleted the virtual machine and did a test with the migration. I literally, boom, I did migrate and told it to migrate it to there. And it did. It seemed to have taken a long time, but I went to sleep. So that process is really slow, but I have another theory on it, and I'm going to be testing that. But it works. It worked well, really well. So in the future, that's going to be a useful feature if it can be faster anyways, because it was really slow.